All right, so we are here with Brandon Matthew of Brandon Matthew Putters.
Yeah, I'm based out of Huntington Beach. I've joined this ever-growing actual niche of boutique putter builders that's kind of come about. You know, there seems to have been like this huge explosion of builders all of a sudden. I'm fairly new at it too. We only really started, building 2 years ago. I was doing a little bit of work before that on other brands and stuff and making my own things, but actual launch date was like January 1st of 2020. So my whole thing getting started was I just wanted a Newport 2 with a flow neck, you know what I mean? And left-handed. Obviously, you can't find that stuff in the stock models. And if you find it in tour, it's going to cost you an arm and a leg. So I started just taking like stock Scotty Camerons and cutting the necks off and welding, flow necks on. And it was just like all of a sudden all these lefties were like, can you do it for me? Can you do it for me? And I was just trying to make a couple bucks at it as like a hobby thing. And then someone's like, you should start your own brand. And I'm like, I have zero capability to do that. I'm not a machinist, or I wasn't a machinist. I'm not an educated machinist. I was, very self-taught. I kind of just was thrown into it and tried to figure a few things out. Ended up getting some equipment, finding some of the right people to help me kind of work a machine and figure some stuff out. And then it was incredibly hard. Everyone's gonna go, oh, it was so easy from that. No, it's very difficult. I've ruined so many putters, and I've got so many boxes of like blemished putters, breaking tools, and just going too deep or taking too much material. It's kind of funny. But now, 2 years into it, we've got it down to a science, and I think we put a pretty good product out. I don't try to get too extravagant. There's a lot of builders out there that are kind of taking it to this next level. They're seeing some of these really big names doing all this really flashy stuff. And while I do some of that every once in a while, my main focus is the putter needs to be a putter. It needs to operate. It needs to perform. And so without being like cliche, like it's made to game, that's kind of what it is. A lot of people really like how they roll. And what's interesting about that is, I didn't reinvent the wheel by any means. We've got an answer style head, we've got an answer 2 style head, and a couple other little ones. So it's not like I sat down and redesigned this amazing putter. But I think there's just a little more care into it out of our shop.
So you obviously, you got your kind of off-the-shelf designs that you run with and everything. What are some of the options that people get to choose from in order to build their custom putter?
First, you're going to pick material. That's kind of the first thing I tell everybody. Stainless steel, 303 stainless, or 1018 carbon steel, like low carbon, which is just raw steel, basically. And after you kind of figure that out, then we usually move on to the neck. And the neck is really based on your stroke. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. Oh, I want a long neck because they think it looks cool. But if they have this huge arcing swing, you don't want a long neck. It's face balanced. I do, like a center shaft, plumber's neck, long plumber's neck, mid plumber's neck, slant neck. I do a super flow, which is just like a longer flow neck, a regular flow neck. And I think every once in a while we'll do like a straight shaft or a straight peg that will get like a double bend shaft on it. The super flow I really like because you can make it face balanced, you can make it super toe hang, you can make it pretty standard or neutral like a plumber's neck, like 45 degrees. It's all in how we bend the shaft. So, it all comes down to the angle of the shaft right here going into the top line of the putter. So a normal plumber's neck, you can see it's towards the rear of the putter. So when you have a long neck and now this part's up here, now it's angling more towards the center, right? So you can achieve some of the same things like a center shaft or a super flow just by angling this different. And so that's keeping it, but you have to keep it within your spec, 70 degrees or whatever, 71. Yeah, the more it goes towards the center, the more face balance it's going to be. So when you see those little, flow necks that are just back here, you just got super toe hang. You really have to understand what you're doing before you make that decision. So I kind of think it's probably one of the most important decisions of the build. And then it's milling. Okay, well, do you like a click sound or do you like a thunk? And if you like a click, we'll go super smooth with it, or a real fine milling. If you like a thunk and you like a soft feel, we'll go real deep. And then there's a big argument of like, well, carbon steel is way softer than stainless steel. And while it is a softer metal, I can make stainless steel feel just as soft as carbon with the milling. You know, guys that spend a lot of time, like in California, it's 70 degrees out right now. It's not very wet. It's, you know, early in the morning, you get a little dew on the grass. So using a carbon head's probably fine. You know, you take care of it, you oil it. It's not going to rust or pit. Somebody that lives somewhere where, like in England or Scotland, where they're just continuously in rainy conditions, you just don't do carbon head. It's going to pit over time. You're not going to like it. People don't realize that one night of it sitting in like a wet head cover will pit it to the point where I can't even buff it off without like completely sanding the bottom down, which will take your stamping off, or it'll take any kind of logos off. So, and weight for sure. Now, when we treat the carbon heads, we oil can them or something, it does offer a lot of protection, but in the long run, it's going to patina over time, and it's you know, it needs care. But a lot of guys like that look. Like this one right here is, you know, that's a full patina. I rolled this one, where's the camera? I rolled that one for quite some time, and you can see the rust here, right? But that's like surface rust. So it's not gonna pit it like crazy, but if I went and put this in water and tucked it in the cover and stuck it in the bag, it's gonna get really pitted. But, you know, I like the look of that. I like that kind of vintage, rustic look.
Now, do you find that a lot of people ordering putters are aware of all these options and understand, you know, what's out there? Or is it something that you kind of have to walk through with people as far as, you know, these are the options that you're out here. What is your putting stroke? How does it work?
Yeah, because I was curious because you had mentioned like the face balance and everything. Like, what if somebody doesn't know that? Like, do you recommend they go somewhere to get like not fitted, but like to kind of figure out the arc of their stroke?
Yeah. Most guys don't know, and I always recommend get a camera. You know, with like iPhones now, the slow-mo camera, put it behind your putt or put it on top, and see what the putter's doing, and that'll give you, you know, a real good basic assessment of what your stroke is. And if not, get fitted, because it's just as important as getting fitted for irons, for sure. Because if you're doing something that contradicts or counters what the putter's trying to do, you're just going to be all over the place. You're going to be pushing them, you're going to be pulling them. You know, it's going to be a mess, and then you're going to blame the putter, and we get a bad rap for that or something. You know, it's a very important piece.